How's your guys' morning going? Nope, that's not the right one. There we go. So, let me get that out of the way. Really, we don't need that close. You guys can still hear me okay, right? I'm not used to having, more than Snow Bunny and maybe hockey here when I'm first coming on, so I really hope I didn't over overhype this. uh, so 10 o'clock is when I make the big, huge announcement, which, again, I hope I didn't overhype. Viva, how you doing? I mean, I must I must tell you I'm impressed that you're awake so early. It's awesome that you're here. So any of you guys VIP wise who are um, knowledgeable about moderating and would be willing to help Snow Bunny moderate this stream, send me a whisper, and I'll hook you up as a moderator. And um, because she's gonna be probably in and out today. I would imagine. All right. You guys. Knobs, how are you, my brother? I totally get it, Craw. That's cool. Totally get it. That's why I said whisper, because, if you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. I totally get it. How about this, Craw? I stick you there, and if you hear me and we end up needing moderation, I'll yell at you. Um, but Snow Bunny should be there most of the time, but she may have to get up to, you know, I don't know. She does a lot of shit, um, so let me do that. Cool, cool, cool. Um, Seriously, guys, I'm a little bit overwhelmed. I totally didn't think I'd be talking about anything until like at least 8:30, 9 o'clock. I thought I'd be at least two cups of coffee in before you guys really started showing up. So, um, I don't have enough content planned between 8 and 10 to, you kind of fucked me up already. So, we're going to just have to bullshit for a few minutes. Yeah, exactly, Viva. That's perfect. There's some content. So, here's something we can talk about for a minute. I've actually had this conversation with three people in the last 24 hours, three different streamers. Were any of you guys in the Papa Paws raid yesterday? And you know what? For those who weren't, um, so Papa rated somebody who had he didn't know, and he just rated her because she had a mental health charity stream tag up, because she had forgotten to change the tags. And so once she realized that Papa had rated her and that he had rated her because she had the mental health tags up, she felt like shit because she wasn't a mental health streamer. And um, so the and I told her in chat, I said, just because you're not a mental health streamer doesn't mean that you're not supportive of good quality mental health, or that your channel isn't a safe place for people to go talk. Um, so I kind of want to hear your thoughts on that. So I guess what should the question be? Um, is it necessary to be a mental health streamer, quote unquote, um, in order to put mental health tags on your stream? What are your thoughts on that, guys? No, 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 no. They didn't want. It's not that they didn't want the raid. They felt guilty that they had mental health tags on their stream, and their stream was like Mahler's stream, where they were just playing a game and sending out good vibes, like your stream. Um, and so once she realized that Papa had rated her because she had the mental health tags on her stream, and she wasn't doing a specific mental health stream, she felt guilty, I guess, and bad. And that's what I think too. Walnut, that's exactly what I think. Exactly. Exactly. I think that what it means is that, the stream may not be specifically mental health focused. However, if somebody, like, if I had, if I were going through an anxiety attack and I saw that Walnut was on, even though Walnut's not a specific mental health streamer, I know that I could go on her stream and say, I'm having a panic attack. And I know that she gets me enough that she'd be like, oh, well, let's talk about it or whatever. And so for me, that's, even though it's not a mental health focused stream, it's still a mental health stream. Exactly. Yeah. And the other person, another person, there were three people that I had this conversation with. Um, he said something to me to the effect of, he was talking about a show that he was going to do that had some off color humor in it, a very mature show. And he's like, it might not be the best thing for your audience, being that you're a mental health focused stream. And I'm like, well, what the fuck are you talking about? The peeps that come to my stream, they still like to laugh, you know, and just because somebody's on Twitch because of mental health, let's just say somebody's on Twitch dealing with a depression issue, they don't necessarily want to sit in a mental health stream 24/7 and just loathe on their depression, you know, going across a stream where they're just going across a stream where Mahler's, you know, going falling off the side of the road over a cliff into the river, and you hear Spuddy in the background laughing his ass off. That might be the perfect thing for somebody going through a depression issue. And it has nothing to do with being mental health focused. So that's, you know. And see, Aloha, what you're talking about right there is actually it's important to know that line. When is it time to make a referral? And for for somebody like myself, when I feel that I can't relate to a person or empathize with what they're going through because I lack the personal experience, I will refer them to a person who I know is a little bit more in line with what they've experienced. And um, I I will share my own experiences with medication and treatments, but I will never tell a person. I mean, prescribing medication is not what I'm totally not qualified to do that, and I'm also not trained to provide therapy or, you know. So when I talk about therapies and medications, I'm talking about it from a scholastic point of view rather than a diagnostic or medic medical point of view. Um, I understand that fear that you speak of there, Viva, and that's common. Um, in the in the peer support class that I went through, actually, there were 17 of us in the no, there were either 13 or 17 of us, um, and all of us made that statement on the first day. Um, and by the time we were done, and the class was probably at least 30% role playing exercises, and by the time we were done with that process, that fear went away because you will be surprised how well you will relate to people who have experienced things other than what you've experienced, but the the ultimate experience is still the same. I don't know how to explain it better than that. I guess if you saw Corrine and you heard her story about how she felt about the loss of her independence when she was hit with blindness, um, obviously I've never been struck with blindness, but I have had a period of time where I completely lost my independence. And so I can, even though we haven't shared the same experience, the loss of independence is still the same feeling. So, yeah, yeah. Seriously, you guys, I'm totally, I'm, I'm just, I'm not gonna cry this stream. And by the way, you guys, in the last stream, I had more to say to all of you, um, but I really cut it short as soon as I felt any kind of emotion or uh, I was not going to fall apart. So just know that we will continue those conversations as time goes on. Okay, so here is what is going on today, you guys, because I know some of you, many of you, are working and watching the stream in the background. So here's what's going on, so you can tune out when things are not applicable. I'm going to kind of tell a little bit of a story coming up to the 10 o'clock hour, and there's actually a few stories that all kind of uh, tie together, I guess, eventually. And you'll have to bear with me on some of it because some of it has to tie together really loosely. Um, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about I don't even want to say that, but I'm going to talk about streaming a little bit. And um, and I hope that some of you are here during this time because I kind of want to get I want this to be a discussion rather than a essay, or what do you call it, lecture. Um, so we'll get into that. And then at 10, I have actually 3 announcements that I'm making. And then after those announcements, we're going to do a little cool thing, I think. And so after the announcements, we're going to do something really cool. I don't want to say anything more about that. But that's really the part that I'm excited about. So, see, and I agree with you, Craw, that crises are extremely delicate, and most of what, I mean, I don't think we've ever really dealt with a crisis in my channel in terms of, somebody right on the brink. I know we had a person in here about a week ago that had recently been on the phone with a suicide hotline, but I think by the time we went to Hockey's after mine, and I think Hockey might have gone to Papa's after that with that person. I got a whisper from that person later that, a thank you, that she had, by the time she was done being handed off, her day had improved significantly. So what we do has positive impact even when we're not doing anything. So keep that in mind, you guys. So that's what is going to start happening here in a few minutes. I'm going to get some coffee. I'm going to take a throat lozenge. And I will be back in. Twiggy, how you doing, man? It's good to see you. I hope I didn't say the wrong thing by saying man. I don't know if you're a male or female or what, but you can let me know if you wish. And I know why you're here, and I encourage you to hang out till 10 because I'm going to talk about what you're wanting to hear right about that time. Cypress, how you doing? How you doing, Cypress? That's good to see you. So, aloha. You just... Okay, thank you, Twiggy. Thank you. Aloha, you just revealed my flippin' secret. Oh. So after the announcements, you guys, I am going to open up shout-outs, and the shout-outs are going to have a 5-minute countdown on them. So you guys are going to fight for shout-outs, and you're going to shout somebody out, and then for 5 minutes, we're going to go check out their Twitch page and their write-up and all that good shit. So Thanks for outing me, Craw. You know what? Thanks for outing me. So, um, yeah, that's going to be about 10:20 or 10:30 that we start doing that. And we're just going to continue that until everybody's bored of shouting everybody out. So, um, we'll get into that in a little bit. So, let me go get some coffee. Let me get a throat lozenge. Let me chat with Dave a minute. Um, and when we come back, we will uh, start this shit. So, be back in a minute. Cypress, I hate to see that you have to leave, but enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for stopping by. I do appreciate it. And seriously, have a wonderful day if you still hear this. All right, guys. Can you guys see the shirt? Like I guess right here. There's a peace sign and then a dog. Uh, so this shirt is somewhere between 10 and 15 years old. Um, I've always been a sucker for tie dye ever since my parents took me to. We went to San Francisco when I was like 4 years old, and we went to see the streetcars, and I saw some woman in a tie dye sundress, and I'm like, wow, she's wearing the fucking rainbow. And I probably didn't say fuck because I didn't know that word then, but I mean, seriously, she was wearing the rainbow. How cool is that? And so I've been a sucker for tie dye, and this shirt actually came from Goodwill. Um, I bought it during the darkest of times, and it actually, I don't know if it was Salvation Army or St. Vincent or, somebody gave me a clothing voucher at Goodwill, and I found this shirt for 99 cents. And this shirt has a lot of significance because I found early on wearing this shirt that I couldn't go anywhere wearing this shirt, whether it be the grocery store, the library, the park, anywhere where I'm going to run into human beings. Somebody inevitably is going to say, wow, that's a really cool shirt. And so, and even when you're feeling really shitty, it's really hard to continue to feel shitty when you get a compliment. And even when a person is complimenting your choice of attire, that still feels good. And so this shirt kind of became a tool in my toolbox when I was in my darkest moments. I would go to the park and read a book or somewhere where hopefully somebody would walk by and say, hey, that's a nice shirt. And I also wore this shirt when I flew down to pick Snow Bunny up. And we talked a little bit about this the other day, guys, but I can't tell you how long Snow Bunny and I have been together. I can't tell you how long we've been in love. I can't tell you how long we've known each other. Um, we just have always been. And we just started talking one day and never stopped. And I can't really remember that either one of us said, hey, let's be boyfriend and girlfriend. Um, and somehow I was able to convince her to come up here. And she lived like 2,500, somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 miles away from me. So the shirt has a lot of meaning to me, and all of that is going to, everything I just talked about as far as this shirt goes is going to come into play later. So take that, stick that on another burner, and we're going to go on to something else. And the people who are really true D&D gamers are going to understand this, and Shit. I forgot to show Cypress something when she was here. Um, but it doesn't really matter whether you've played WoW or EverQuest or any kind of cooperative MMO type of game. Um, if there's anything I'm a bigger nerd about than Star Wars, it is Dragonlance, which are these books. In my blacksmith, you can see the first trilogy of Dragonlance. Do not ever pay the price that they're asking for on there. You should never have to spend more than like $4 on one of these books. Buy them used. They're all over the place. Um, but it talks. There's 5 main companions in the Dragonlance saga, and all of the companions have a different alignment. Um, there's a chaotic evil. There's a lawful good. There's a neutral good. And I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about um, the whole philosophy of alignments and shit, but the point is that in a gaming scenario where you are in a campaign, and the best way to complete the goals of the campaign are to have a mix of characters, you can't get that done very often with 5 lawful good people or 5 lawful evil people. Um, the and the other thing about gaming is, especially MMOs, people that do MMOs will understand this significantly. Everybody plays the game for a different reason. So everybody has a different definition of what winning means. And, so if we just take WoW, for instance, um, Snow Bunny in a game like WoW, her definition of victory is that she has seen every dungeon and every mountaintop and everywhere. She's traveled the entire world. Um, my goal in a game like that is to be able to manipulate the auction house so that I don't have to spend my time in dungeons. Um, so, everybody has their different definition of what winning is. And that translates also into life, and it also translates into streaming. All of us stream for a different reason. Some of us stream because we want to be partner and create an income. Some of us stream because we just like hanging out with people. And some of us stream because we use it as a means of personal growth and improvement. Um, so it's okay. So I'm going to make one of the announcements now, or talk about one of the announcements now. You guys remember Shattered Rift from the other day? Um, Shattered Rift is extremely knowledgeable as to uh, the business of Twitch, in the sense of, if you have a question of terms of service, or if you have a question about how a hype train works, or what the most advantageous way to run a hype train is, or what are some ways to monetize channels that you haven't thought of? Or um, we're going to be talking. So, the first Peer Talk of the year, which is going to be Friday the 8th at 12 o'clock Mountain Time, is going to be Shattered Rift and I. And we are going to talk extensively about the business of Twitch. And we're going to cover everything from how to support streams when you can't financially afford to do so. We're going to talk about some things about etiquette. We're going to talk about things about ways to monetize that people don't think about because it's not directly related to their channel. So that's, and really that's the announcement that really affects you guys more so than the rest of the announcements. The rest of the announcements are more cool for me than they are for you. But that one is, you know, I don't get to support Shattered as much as I would like to because most of his streams are past my bedtime. But he started streaming a little bit in the morning now, so we've reconnected, and that's cool. And I think you guys, I totally agree. I have to break this for a second because I know what you guys are talking about. And that actually, Aloha Craw, is one thing I said the other day about you that I totally appreciate. And you do it more than once in a stream where you just start going down the list of your people in chat. And that's so awesome of you to do because you're genuine in your introductions too. You you show that you support the streams because you know what they stream and what they're about, and so it's not just the generic, hey, go check them out. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of cool that we're talking about this because this is what we're going into. Streaming is also, for many of us, a business. And in the real world, businesses compete. And so if you have a donut shop on the east side of town and you have a donut shop on the west side of town, even though the donut shop on the right side of town plays rock music and the donut shop on the west side of town plays country music, they're still competitive donut shops, and they're not going to share business ideas or concepts or cinnamon to sugar ratio or anything like that. But in the world of streaming, that competitiveness doesn't exist in that sense among. So when Geeky Girl says this network that we have is kind of like a big family, so among this family of ours, as Geeky calls it, there isn't that competitive spirit, and it doesn't even exist among streamers who may stream at the same time. And that is a unique element of streaming that allows for a business concept that would not work in the real world to work in the streaming world. Am I making sense so far? Questions, comments? Comments would be great. Does anybody see where the hell we're going with this? Talk to me, goose. Sort of, yep. Yep. Getting there. So I don't know how many of you were here when that person, I'll just say Zorro, and if you were here, you'll know who I'm talking about, came in and asked me some questions. If you weren't here, I think I had my first troll, and I treated the person as I do, as I've learned from Papa Paws, and that guy's teaching me superhero powers, guys. Seriously, it's amazing. So he had me talk about something, and I talked about leaving my last job and why I left my last job, and the last job I had, and when I left it, that's the last time that I had a I don't know, significant crisis, however you want to label it clinically. I went down for probably 3 to 5 months. And so for those of you, I got to go back a little bit, and I'm sorry I do this a lot. For those of you who don't understand bipolar disorder, and I use labels very generically, you guys, I only do that so that people that don't know us know what we're talking about. But so there is hypomania and there's mania. And if I put that into Mystic, I heard a secret about you, and I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to spoil your thunder, but I know something about you that I heard, and I'm really happy about hearing that. So, and there will be a time soon that you can announce that secret if you wish. That's totally not for me to talk about. Hey Slane, how you doing? It's good to see you, buddy. Wow, look at all this love for you, Mystic. These guys are just pouring it on. So if these are clinical terms, guys, hypomania and mania, and if I put those into my own terms, if I were describing to you what I was during those times, a hypomania is an elevated mood, and a mania is batshit crazy. There's no other way to say it. In a hypomania, I can have 20 or 30 different thoughts going at the same time, and I can be processing them all independently. And in a mania, I can still have those thoughts, but they aren't as connected, and I get a sense of grandiose importance to the point that I really truly believe that in the next 4 or 5 days I'm going to be able to figure out the pattern in prime numbers that, mathematicians have been trying to do for thousands of years. But I'm going to do it in 5 days. So that's the difference between a mania and a hypomania. And this idea originally came out of a mania. So, um, the first few people that I told it to, that they were like, yeah, that's batshit crazy, man. You're never gonna pull that off. And it's about 10 years old that this idea is. And anybody who has seen Patch Adams is it's I didn't create this idea. It's I just copied it and went from a medical model to a mental health model. That's it. So it's not that difficult and it's really not that manic. Um, in its most simple form, the idea was a 24/7 drop in center that was completely staffed by um, peers, people who had experienced and overcome their own mental health issues. And the 24/7 drop in center was free to anybody who wanted to come in and participate. And the way that you became a participant was you agreed to teach 2 2-hour classes a week about what you did in something that you did in your recovery that helped you succeed. And so then people who were struggling could drop in 24/7, go to these classes, and just, oh, somebody's got a yoga class at 8 o'clock, somebody's got an art class at 10 o'clock, somebody's teaching guitar at 12. Um, and that was always going. And then that was one side of the entity. And then the other side that participants could participate in if they chose to was an economic side, that because people who struggle with mental health issues tend to um, be up and down about their jobs, um, this business entity was basically a self-employment venture where, and I'm just going to use as an example in the real world, a microgreen business. So we're going to grow microgreens and we're going to sell them at the farmer's market. Um, Sometimes people are social enough to sell at the farmer's market. Sometimes they're not. If they're not, they can squirt the greens. Um, so the point was that the funding for the clinical side, and I use that word loosely, um, came out of this self-employment side, and in addition to the the helpful entity being funded, it also paid these individuals totally commensurate upon their production. So, because they all owned it. So, I told that to a few people, and they were like, well, that's just batshit crazy. And, you know, nobody's ever going to fund it. Nobody's ever going to, whatever. And after I had met Snow Bunny and talked to her for, I don't know, it'd been a little while before I really felt comfortable enough to talk to her about it. But I talked to her about it, and she was like, wow, that's fucking brilliant. And so that gave me the confidence to talk to my Voc Rehab counselor about it. And my Voc Rehab counselor sent me to Chris, who we interviewed. And Chris and I attempted to get it going. We tried with 3 different groups. We wrote for grants. We tried for grants. And it crashed and burned all 3 times. And the reason, now that I think about it, that it crashed and burned all 3 times, and I mean, Snow Bunny and I have gone through this ad nauseum. And the reason that it didn't really ever come together is because of that competitive issue that happens in the business world that doesn't happen in the Twitch world. Um, so I want you guys to explain to me how the idea that I just shared is any different than a network of independent streamers all streaming at different times to create a 24/7 coverage where somebody who was feeling mental health issues could go to a safe place. What's the difference there? Is there a difference there? And while you guys are talking and thinking about that, I'm going to catch up on chat here for a minute. Spuddy, how you doing? Slane, how you doing? How come you're having a rough morning, brother? I don't want anybody to leave having a rough morning, so let's get that out of the way. Did you get some sleep, Spuddy? Hockey Freak, you need to make sure and get that appointment with the eye doctor. That's so cool, Knobs, that you're on vacation. That's awesome. So, right, Walnut, there is no physical entity that's needed. And here's the coolest thing about this, okay? Chris and I tried, and when I say I poured my heart and soul into this, guys, ask Snow Bunny. It consumed me. And, you know, I've watched this come together over the past 2 months, and it just came together. There's no organization. There's no nobody talked about it. It just, we are a network of independent streamers, all who are supportive of positive well-being, mental health, and positivity. And we all have the opportunity to support that entity by supporting each other's streams. And when I say supporting each other's streams, I'm not talking about financially necessarily. And that's something Shattered Rift and I are going to go to in great detail. As well as I see this a lot in Papa's channel, and I've not really had it much in mind. I don't know about you guys, but people come by and they're like, I'm a new streamer, and what advice do you have for me? And for many people, a trip to YouTube and a Harris Heller video, and they're up and streaming. But some people are asking that question because they might need somebody to call bullshit on their excuses. And there's somebody in chat right now that I'm not going to call out, but if she wants to share the effect that somebody calling bullshit on your excuses can have, I would invite her to do so. But oftentimes those people are dismissed by some streamers. And I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form that Papa Paz is one of these streamers. I'm just saying that I see sometimes in streams when people ask for that, they're not looking for hours of time. They're not looking for you to hold their hand and guide their way through it. They're just looking for someone to say, hey, I think you can do that. I think you got it in you. And I know the personal growth that I've had in the last, and it's been 2 months, you guys. I looked this morning. October 17th was when I decided to change the direction of this channel. So all of you I've known less than that amount of time. And the amount of personal growth in my own life and the amount of personal growth that I've seen in some of your guys' life goes far beyond the financial benefits of streaming. And so, with that said, though, there are financial benefits to streaming, and you can use streaming to further your income in ways that aren't necessarily from a Twitch payment. So we'll go into that a little later. If you have already I'm struggling a lot with thinking about the things I want to do, but I always find excuses not to fulfill them. Not all the time, but mostly. Twiggy, are you talking about streaming specifically, or are you talking about life goals, or, you know? So, guys, if you have already picked up a pack of cards, there's only 5 of these left. So, if you've already picked up one, let somebody else pick them up. If you want to go to Streamloots and get a pack of Streamloots cards, they're cards that you can play on the stream. I do believe I have them up. Let me make sure. Yes, I do. And, I mean, that's just, I mean, you guys know about this kind of monetization, so, but it's an example. It's fun shit you can do that is, you know, different than bits, donations, and subs. Anyway, that's for another time. I just think the cards are cool. Fuck. All right, so that's it. That's all I have until the announcements. And so we're like an hour away from announcements. You guys weren't supposed to show up so early. So, both. That's exactly why, Hockey. Sorry about that, Spuddy. Hockey was... He needs his eyes checked, seriously. So, Twiggy, let's talk about that a little bit. Do you think that we're talking about a procrastination issue? Or are we talking about an anxiety issue? Or that could be both too. I haven't peed yet either, Mystic, and I gotta pee so bad my teeth are having fucking motorboat races right now. So Okay. Okay. So first of all, Twiggy, I'm gonna have to write this rule down because we have an unwritten rule in this community that we don't use the word sorry unless we've actually really egregiously injured somebody. So, um, number one, you don't have to apologize. Number two, um, I have uh, I have an English degree with an English as a second language teaching certificate. So you don't have to you don't have bad English, number one, and number two, you wouldn't have to worry about it if you did. So I I think I need to do the same, Mystic. Twiggy, I'm gonna come back and we're gonna talk about this because I think I understand where you're coming from. And yeah, let's talk about this. Give me give me about 3 minutes, guys. Um, I'll be right back. All right, you guys. Spuddy and Twiggy, let's talk about this. And we're going to talk about it specific to streaming first, Twiggy. And then I am going to talk to you a little bit about it, life, in terms of applying it to life. I don't know any streamer. And when I say I don't know any streamer, guys, think of some of the streamers that we know. I don't know any streamer that would say that they have their shit together. They know what they're doing. They don't get anxiety sometimes hitting the button. I missed last Monday because of that very reason. So even the streamers that may be further ahead in their streaming development than you are, they still feel that. So feeling that anxiety to press the go live button is not abnormal. There's nothing wrong with you that you feel that. So let's get that out of the way first. And I would also venture to say that everybody in this room who is a streamer would agree with me that it is not a stream unless there is a technical difficulty somewhere along the line during the stream. And I know that the people who are more technically involved in your streams, whether it be the streamer or their support person, there is so much behind the shit stuff that you guys don't see, where we look like we have it together, but we're freaking out because something's going wrong. And it happens to people that have audiences of 3. It happens to people that have audiences of 20. It happens to people that have audiences of 100. And it happens to people that have audiences of 1,000. It just is a streaming thing. So exactly. Sometimes Hockey Freak is completely right. You just have to press F to pay respects, and you got to do that sometimes. So with that said, that doesn't make it any easier for somebody that's blocked. And I get that, you guys. So I'm going to scroll back up here because I want to see exactly how Twiggy said it. So it's what I hear you saying, Twiggy, and please correct me if I'm not catching this right. But you fear failing, and you are anxious easily because of that fear that you may fail. Did I get that right? Okay. Yeah, I totally relate to that. By a show of hearts, do you guys in chat relate to that? And what I'm asking if you relate to is, do you sometimes fear failure so much that it causes anxiety? And to such an extent that anxiety sometimes keeps you from doing the things you feel you should be capable of doing. Yeah, Hockey Freak hears me. Um, so it's I'm gonna talk to you a little bit. We're gonna talk through this, Twiggy. So, what do you feel makes? Let me hear what your definition of success as a streamer entails. And while you tell me that, I'm going to bring up the glow shrooms and say a quick word to Dave. So, if you felt happy as a stream, yeah, please do, Papa. Okay, so Papa, Twiggy doesn't stream yet, and Twiggy is wants to stream, but has anxiety freezing her up because of the fear of failing. So we're trying to get to where, what would make her feel successful as a streamer. And if being happy with what you're doing as a streamer is the only definition of success, then I must tell you that you have nothing to worry about, because 5 minutes into pushing the go live button, um, I don't know of any streamer who is not happy with streaming at the moment they're streaming. It's all the stuff afterwards that is a pain in the ass. So, um, are you worried about embarrassing yourself? Are you worried about not saying the right thing? Are you worried about someone coming in and being mean? I mean, what are the fears, and what's the definition of exactly just what Papa said? How do you define happiness, and how would streaming bring that to you? And Papa, how the hell are you today? Um, so Papa, I told myself I would do this if you came, because you have 10-pound balls, dude. To sing on stream, and for since you're Canadian, I have to put that. So, 5 kilograms would be 11 pounds, I think. So you have 5 kilogram balls to sing on stream, and I'm gonna sing "Carol of the Bells" for you. Oh, Jesus, I can't believe I'm going to do this. All right, Twiggy, you want to talk about embarrassing and anxiety and being frozen and all that shit? I can't even look at you guys right now because of what I'm about to do. So, This is for you, Papa. Hark how, hark how the bells, sweet silver bells, all seem to say, throw cares away, Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the bold. Ding dong, ding dong. Yeah, I ain't gonna do that. So you got two stanzas there, and that's all, that's all you're gonna get, my brother. But that's how Carol of the Bells is, and it sounds better with a choir than a solo person. So, all right, let's go back to Twiggy here. All right, so Twiggy, the only person in this room that knew me prior to October 17th is Hockey Freak. And Snow Bunny, of course. Um, so, Spuddy, you need to go to the same clinic as Hockey Freak, and when he goes to the right to go to the eye doctor, you need to go to the ear doctor. Um, anyway, Twiggy, um, we don't know each other well, and yet, but I struggle a lot with what you're talking about also in the real world, and have struggled with that for years. And I'm beginning to um, do things in real life that 3 months ago I didn't think I'd ever be capable of doing. And it's a direct result of my experience as a streamer. So that is why I am so passionate. And I think Hockey Freak, when I said the other day that I didn't know why you did what you do, I think I get it now. I think that the reason we are so passionate about watching small streams develop is because we're not watching the small stream develop, we're watching the streamer. And um, okay, there's one person in the room, everybody knows who I'm talking about probably, and we've seen this person blossom in the last month, especially in the last 2 weeks. And it's talk about that for a minute, you guys. I mean, where was she a month ago and where is she now? And and I'm not saying that, you know, everything has magically disappeared and, you know, um, she never has issues of with anxiety and that's all gone away, because I know that it's not. Um, but um, yeah, Walnut, it's um, I'm tell I guess what I'm telling you, Twiggy, is hear me now, believe me later. Um, hit the go live button a couple times and just screw around and don't take it seriously. And I think that you will find, if you just don't take it seriously, and don't worry about the numbers, um, so I had a boss, and Papa can vouch for me on this, I think, because he's a full-time streamer. So I think he would totally agree with this. I don't understand the business of Twitch like he does, but I had an old boss one time, and he always said, I mean, it was his mantra, watch the pennies, the dollars will take care of themselves. And you know, you thought about that, and it's kind of profound because you're always thinking of, you know, a hamburger costs $2. Um, so to translate that into streaming and um, watch the content, or not watch, but focus on the content, and the numbers will take care of themselves. And so the more you worry about the numbers, the shittier they're going to be. Would you agree with me on that, Papa? Am I correct in that assumption? And the other thing, Twiggy, is that there are numerous people in this community and in quite a few other communities that are very supportive of small streamers. So um, once we get to exactly, that's what I'm trying to say, Papa. Is exactly what you just said. Um, and I can imagine how you are with analytics, because I'm actually um, I have the Google Analytics certificate that you go through, and that's actually a pretty hard fucking test to pass. Um, I don't think that Knobs would think it was hard, obviously. That's cool that you say that, Twiggy. And believe me, I understand that you are grateful for that. Um, but you'll realize someday that it's what I missed about. I was talking about the the certificate that you get from Google when you know how to do Google Analytics really well. That certificate. I'm glad you're here, Papa, for this. Actually, this is perfect timing, as always. Um, you'll find this eventually, Twiggy, that it's, and Hockey Freak, back me up on this if you're here. Um, I get I get the same high from watching a successful affiliate stream as the affiliate gets. So it's not. Um, I don't know that people who are helpful of other small streamers, I don't think they see it as anything to be thanked for, because they derive a large portion of their own personal joy from their act of helping. So Spuddy, I think you've kind of gotten a raw deal a little bit in terms of um, the help you received there. And I wish I knew more about the UK and where to send you, but I think that place that. Did you get the. um, website that I sent you to, and was that the right place to send you to? And if not, let me know, and I will look again. We have a raid from Supa Genki Life. Genki, I met. When did we meet? Was it Saturday? Um, we recently met. This guy's pretty cool. He has a very unique stream. He's a very unique personality. Has a very unique community, and I've had a lot of fun with him in a couple days that I've known him. And you're really thank you for the follow, Blazing. Um, and I know I know enough to know that we're looking at some anime names or anime inspired names. Am I right? Um, and I am not an expert on anime. I apologize, but if I'm reading that right, let me know. If I'm not, definitely let me know. Um, am I not right, Supa? Japanese names. Okay. You thought I was the expert on anime? I actually know very little about anime. Um, Snow Bunny knows a little bit about anime. Ah, gotcha. All right, we got our first troll. Aloha. uh, I love it. I love it, you guys. So I am the old fat guy. I'm a mental health advocate. I do a lot of bullshitting, and some of these guys think that it's cool. Um, I don't know why. And sometimes I play video games, and I do that a lot, I guess. Um, so I'm actually making an announcement in 25 minutes that makes everything that I just said kind of different. So I guess let's not worry about waiting until 10, and if people are late, they're late. Um, so I have three announcements, you guys. Uh, the first one we already talked about, and that is the Peer Talk show with Shattered Rift on the 8th of January. Let me just make sure that that date is the correct date. No. Yes. Got to go the right direction. Yes, Friday the 8th of January at 12 o'clock Mountain Time, we are doing Peer Talk, and it is all about the quote unquote business of Twitch. But we're talking about not just monetization, guys. We're talking about etiquette. We're talking about what new streamers need to do, what, and we're when we're talking about the business of Twitch, we're talking about it from the perspective of small streamers. Um, so, um, Vanessa, hi, nice to meet you. Welcome in. We are just starting to begin to talk about some changes that this stream is going to take. Um, so the second announcement, guys, and this one is the one that I am most excited about. Um, so there's going to be a new day put on my stream schedule, and it's going to be Saturday. Sometime Saturday. We haven't nailed down a time yet. But Snow Bunny is going to be gaming with me on stream on Saturdays. Some of you have asked for that, and I have been able to talk her into it. So I am so jacked about it. We actually bought Farming Simulator 19 to be able to stream that, but we also, I mean, she and I have played 732 hours of Stardew Valley together, and I'm very literal about that. I can show you a screenshot of my Twitch, or not Twitch, my Steam, um, and they just did 1.5. So we're kind of we're debating on whether we should do Stardew or um, Farming Simulator. So this is the last stream of 2020 for me. And the first stream of 2020 for me will be Saturday the 2nd, and it will be myself streaming with Snow Bunny. And we met gaming, guys. We have so much fun together when we're gaming. Snow Bunny is not averse to bitch slapping me with a feather. And she's really not averse to doing that to anybody. So it's gonna be really fun. I guess I have four notifications, or no, four announcements. So this is the third announcement. As many of you know, I think four people Spuddy can play together at the same time on Stardew. As many of you know, in real life, I went through the class, took the test for, and am currently awaiting my certification to be a certified behavioral health peer support specialist. And that certification should come through sometime in February or March. And when that comes through, I'm going to use it to work locally in my community, and that will create me with a income so that I can use any income that I earn streaming. So 2021, any income that I make as a result of Twitch is going to be recycled either into this stream or supporting the streams of other small streamers. I won't take any profit from this stream. So we have that clear, and Shattered Rift is going to help me a little bit with some creative monetization ways. And the final announcement, I have to go see if I can do something here real quick. Because I may have to actually do this off stream. Am I still on stream? Are we still here? Can you guys hear me?